This is the part one summary of The Quiet American. At the beginning of the story, we are introduced to Thomas Fowler, who is the narrator and the main character. He's a British journalist in his 50s. And then we meet Pyle, who is an American working undercover with the CIA. The storyline started with Fowler waiting for Pyle to arrive, and he said he would arrive at 10, but at midnight he still didn't show. Instead of waiting, he decided to leave and walk outside, and then he found his former lover, Fung, who had left Fowler for Pyle. They went back to his apartment and soon after found a policeman at his door asking questions like how they first met. Fowler then realized that Pyle was dead and had to identify the body. As the night went on, he thought he was the only one who truly cared about Pyle. Then the story goes into a backstory of when Pyle and Fowler first met. They talked about books until Pyle asked about Vietnam's current political situation. Then Pyle suggests that Vietnam should have a third force. Then the narrative switched back to normal time and Fowler found the police searching his apartment. And talking about Pyle, one police officer said that he is not concerned about identifying his killer since it is a war and people die by the thousands. Soon after, Joe, an American economic attaché, interrupts their talk and said that he sent a wire to Pyle's family informing them that their son had died a soldier's death. After attaché pressed them for more information, Fowler became enraged and claimed that Pyle was murdered because he was naive but still got involved. Then Fowler switched to the time Pyle first met Fung at the Continental Hotel having a drink. Pyle came over and asked them to go to his table, and Fowler and Pyle joined Fung in the chalet where there is music and dancing. Eventually, Fowler recalled that he had seen her at a dance at the Grand Monde when she was a hostess prior to this time. 4 months later, they became intimate. Then Pyle danced with Fung, and Miss Hai, Fung's sister, joined Fowler and asked him about Pyle. When the two came back, Miss Hai and Pyle started a conversation, and Miss Hai liked Pyle's formality and politeness, so she asked Fowler to set another meeting up with Pyle. Later, Fowler arrived in the northern Vietnamese town of Phat Diem to investigate rumors about sacking of a cathedral there. He found that Viet Minh soldiers had infiltrated the town during the church procession. After 4 days of fighting, the French managed to create a perimeter around the town, and refugees from the town went to the cathedral for shelter. Fowler feared his life and mentally prepared for death as shots were fired nearby as he was trying to go past a canal. Eventually, later in the night, he fell asleep, but then woke up at 3 a.m., because Pyle was standing in the door of the storeroom he was in. Pyle explained that he followed Fowler because he fell in love with Fung and believed that in her best interest it would be to be with a man who wants to marry her and give her children. Fowler was clearly upset but claimed to not care and said he only wanted her body. Then Fowler poured whiskey and the men drank in silence. 3 weeks later, Fowler is in Hanoi, and he explained that Pyle left Phat Diem the same morning he arrived, departing without a word. By the time Fowler found a way to Hanoi, Pyle had already departed, but left a letter expressing his gratitude for Fowler's understanding. He also expressed how relieved he was that he was not feeling mean about his intentions towards Fung anymore. Fowler just thought Pyle was extremely self-centered. While in Hanoi, Fowler attended a press conference, and they gave reports on the losses by French forces and explained that they were down to 1 helicopter because the American government had not delivered promised supplies. Then Fowler returned to his hotel after the press conference. He finds a telegram from his agency to promote him to the position of a foreign editor, a job that would require him to return to England. He knew that this was the end of his affair with Fung and also secured Pyle's victory with her. And Fowler eventually left to his hotel to go to the Pax bar where he ran into a man named Pietri, a foreign officer who, like Fowler, also preferred his adopted home in Hanoi over his native Corsica. The two men played a round of the dice game, which meant 4-1 in French, and that was the end of part 1.